Welcome to this explainer on the architecture of financial behavior. Today, we're dissecting a really fascinating paradox. Why do exceptionally smart people so often make surprisingly terrible financial decisions? We're going to see how your daily habits and your emotions, not just your paycheck or your IQ, are what actually shape your wealth. This is a psychological deep dive, and honestly, the insights we're covering today might just completely change how you view your bank account forever.
Section 1. The Intelligence Illusion. Smart versus Average.
Okay, let's jump right in by looking at two university graduates who represent this crazy paradox in the world of money. Imagine they graduate on the exact same day from the exact same school. One of them, an absolute financial genius with an off-the-charts IQ. The other is, well, completely average in every academic way. Now, they both start out with good salaries and the exact same opportunities in life. But 30 years later, the results are staggering. The genius is literally drowning in debt, while our average earner has quietly built up a multi-million-dollar fortune.
It immediately begs the question, right? How on earth can someone so undeniably intelligent end up completely broke, while the perfectly ordinary person wins so incredibly big? It kind of defies everything society teaches us about smarts and success.
Well, the crucial point the source makes right out of the gate is this. Wealth isn't controlled by intelligence alone. It is controlled by behavior. Frankly, money doesn't care about your IQ score, your GPA, or where you went to college. It responds to the behavioral decisions and the emotional reactions you make every single day. Every purchase you make, every investment risk you take, every time you react to the evening news, that is what is slowly shaping your financial future.
That brings us to Section 2, the emotional money trap, emotions versus logic.
You know, people love to think they're these perfectly rational mathematical machines, especially when it comes to their finances. But in reality, the stock market has never destroyed as much wealth as these four very human emotions. Fear makes investors panic and sell off everything when prices crash. Greed makes them confidently buy in when prices are hitting record, completely unsustainable highs. Pride convinces incredibly smart people they simply cannot be wrong, even when all the data says otherwise. And envy? Man, envy pushes people to spend money they don't even have just to impress total strangers. Most financial mistakes aren't math problems at all. They're emotional problems.
And this cyclical trap just repeats endlessly in the markets. Step 1, prices rise and greed completely takes over. Everyone suddenly feels like a genius. Step 2, people get so confident they actually borrow money to invest, believing the good times will literally last forever. But then we hit Step 3. Markets naturally fall and sudden, overwhelming panic sets in, which leads directly to Step 4, selling at massive losses because fear becomes way stronger than logic. The great irony here is that the wealthy often buy during that fear, while the poor sell during the panic. Ultimately, the market rewards discipline over emotion.
Now add social media to the mix and comparison becomes incredibly expensive. On one hand, we've got the social media illusion. The luxury cars, the perfect vacations, the designer watches. So many people are spending everything they earn simply to keep up this fake appearance. But on the other hand, true wealth is invisible. Real millionaires are usually investing quietly. They don't feel the need to show off. The vital takeaway to remember here is that the people who look rich aren't always wealthy, and the people who are truly wealthy often look remarkably ordinary.
Moving on to Section 3, two paths to wealth. Alex versus Sarah.
To truly understand this, we're going to look at a behavioral case study from the source to really bring these concepts to life. Meet Alex. At 25 years old, Alex earns a $40,000 salary. He's doing great right out of the gate. He buys a small, affordable apartment and saves diligently every single month. He's doing absolutely everything right.
But fast forward 5 years. Alex's salary doubles. That should be a massive win, right? Well, instead of investing that extra money, he buys luxury cars, goes on expensive vacations, and upgrades to a much larger home. He falls victim to a silent wealth killer called lifestyle inflation. That's when every single raise or increase in income just becomes a new excuse to spend more. So even though Alex is earning twice as much as he used to, his expenses have risen just as fast. He's still living paycheck to paycheck. This exact behavior is a primary reason why high earners often never build lasting wealth.
And this brings us to Sarah, who offers a stark contrast. Sarah has a completely average income, but she totally ignores that luxury trap that caught Alex. She ignores the market panic, the flashy financial headlines, all of it. Instead, she exercises the power of patience. She chooses to invest a small amount consistently, month after month, year after year. She isn't trying to be a financial genius or perfectly time the market. She is just being incredibly disciplined. Which brings us to her secret weapon.
Section 4. Power of compounding. Quiet growth. The explainer source uses this really beautiful, powerful metaphor for compound growth. Imagine planting a tiny seed. For a long time, nothing appears to happen. The first few years feel painfully slow, and the growth seems completely invisible. You might even wonder if the seed is dead. But eventually, and then quite suddenly, it grows into a giant tree. That is exactly how money behaves when it's invested. Eventually, your investments begin earning money on top of money, creating this incredible exponential curve that has built countless fortunes throughout history.
Now, the absolute hardest part of this entire process is simply waiting. But as this quote captures so wonderfully, time works like a silent partner. Small decisions repeated over many years create extraordinary results. Patience almost always beats intelligence because time acts as your most powerful and visible partner in wealth creation. You don't have to be brilliant. You just have to give your money the runway and the time it needs to grow. So how do we pull this all together for your own life?
Let's look at Section 5. Master your mind, the ultimate asset.
Let me ask you, what do you genuinely think is the biggest financial mistake a person can make? You might think it's failing to find that one perfect stock, or not getting in on the ground floor of a perfect business, or missing out on some viral, once-in-a-lifetime investment opportunity. We spend years and honestly so much energy searching for that one magical golden ticket.
But the source reveals that the biggest mistake is actually something entirely different. It's ignoring your own habits. Your financial future depends vastly less on finding one amazing, flawless opportunity and far more on just avoiding thousands of bad decisions over a lifetime. True wealth requires the daily discipline to save consistently, to avoid unnecessary debt, and to keep a really tight leash on your emotions when everyone else is losing theirs. Success in finance is fundamentally about making fewer mistakes.
Which leaves us with this final, crucial question for you to ponder today as you evaluate your own financial journey. Are you wasting your precious energy constantly trying to outsmart the market, predicting the future, and trying to be a financial genius? Or are you finally ready to invest in the greatest asset of all, mastering your own mind? Because remember, true wealth is built one single behavioral decision at a time. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this changes the way you look at your very next financial choice.